All right, Crystal is about to come on and blow your mind, people. She is so tapped in to her intuition, to her wisdom, and just spiritual power and life power to create your reality. So definitely stay tuned to this interview. It's going to be magic. And real quick, I just want to celebrate you for showing up today, for choosing to be and become your greatest possible self, to listen to this episode, investing in yourself, in podcasts, YouTube, courses, events, coaches, all of it. I acknowledge you, so keep going, keep taking action, because action is what produces massive momentum. And it's not just physical action, it's also vibrational action, which I know we're going to be diving into in this conversation. So just remember, you are creating your reality. Create wisely, okay? I'm going to talk about the iTunes review of the week real quick as well. This week, it's by Jay McVean. Let's put it up on the screen, and that rhymed. Jay McVean says, Chris is a force of nature. I met Chris in person and knew he was a very special person with a very clean and vibrant energy and a heart that fills the room. He's a joy to know and even more of a joy to learn from. I'm super grateful that he does what he does. Jay McVean, thank you so much for giving us that review. If you want to go to get a chance at getting shouted out on a future 12-hour live stream, go to beergps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on Apple Podcast Store, and you'll get a chance at that. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let us know what you want to see more of and how we can improve the show for you. Thank you. Crystal's about to come on and rock your world. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes, because this is the gold that is helping you to really step into your greatest gifts, okay? Crystal Cockerham, an international best-selling author, mentor, and feminine wisdom teacher, Crystal works with women to guide them through the spiritual, alchemical process of transformation in order to be liberated from the world's perceptions. Amen. It's time to get free. Using her own special blend of spiritual midwifery, she guides women through the process of transformation, forging and solidifying their innate connection to their inner wisdom, allowing them to access their own truth, empowering them to claim their sovereignty and become the women they are truly meant to be, and thus to live a more connected, joy-filled life. And if you want to find out more, to begin your journey and find out more, go to www.wisdomawakens.com. And we're blessed to have Crystal with us here today. Crystal, are you ready to rock the house, Superwoman?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We get this party started.
We have been like, just, I feel it. The alignment, the energy has just been, it's like birthing an interview baby together, Crystal. This is going to be epic. I've felt it coming for so long. It is going to be awesome. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support for the marathon, just who you are, really empowering people. It is epic. So thank you for taking the time to be here and share with our audience. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Very much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it was great when we had you on the breakthrough, and I've been watching you since then. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to be on his show. It's going to be so awesome.
It was so much fun with you as a panelist on the breakthrough. And shout out to Jessica Dugas for introducing us, and just all the epic people who we're around. Shout out to just amazing people. And Crystal, right now we're focused on you in this interview. So let's dive into the theme of today, which is choose yourself. I believe that's the theme. I think that's what I said. Choose yourself. So Crystal, what does that mean for you? Choose yourself.
Choosing yourself. Well, when you distill every single thing that I do and all the yumminess and not so yumminess that I've helped women with, it really all boils down to them choosing themselves. And they're doing that by releasing all of the expectations, the shoulds, the ought tos, all of that woundedness, and learning to really tap in to their inner self and trust that and choose that over fear, over I'm not good enough, over but he said da 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 da. No, that none of that matters. It only matters in here. So yeah, distilling it down to like its purest essence. I don't think I could make it any shorter or sweeter than that.
That's beautiful. It was perfect, Crystal. Thank you for sharing. And I love how you just start by really declaring your stand of what you're here for women to do, is to reconnect them with their greatness, their purpose, their love, their soul. And I think that's such a beautiful gift that you're bringing to the world. So in your own words, I mentioned it in your intro, but in your own words, why don't you share a little bit more about how you're serving your clients today and what you're standing for?
What really truly lights me up is watching that empowerment come to life.
Mm,
So I'm sure that you have experienced this yourself as being someone who helps guide others. And it's really wonderful. And of course, that's how our people find us, is because they need help and they need guidance and support.
mhm,
And of course, that's what we're here for. And above that, they need that guidance and support in the moment. But as we're doing that, we're teaching them how to do that and trust that part of
mm,
themselves moving forward, so they're not always dependent on someone else.
mm,
And so for me, it's that empowerment piece. And it's taken me a while to arrive on feminine wisdom teacher.
mm,
um, Men have it too. Men have intuition, and they
mhm,
have their wisdom too. And unfortunately, like the society, the way that it's evolved is, for men, it's easier for them to tap into a do
mhm.
and to an identity and just claim it and own it and run with it.
Wow.
And women, there's just so many different hats. It's really easy for them to lose themselves in it,
Mm,
in the other hats, and forget, oh, who's Crystal? Yes, I'm
mm,
so and so's mom and so's blah 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 blah, right? All those other hats.
mhm,
But at the at the end of the day, and through all of that, who is that person who's behind that? Who's that person underneath? And
mm.
so empowering that piece and helping forge that connection and that trust within, that's really the juice.
Wow.
That's really the juice.
Wow. Fascinating. We're going to dive so deep into this conversation. I already got a million questions that I want to be asking you. Before we go there, though, I want to go back in your journey and talk about, how did you get to this place? Like, how did you awaken your own wisdom, your own intuition? What was that process like for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, it came out of a crisis, actually,
Mhm.
as most of them do,
Yo.
right? As most of them do. Nobody just wakes up and chooses, I'm going to find blah, blah, blah and tap in. But when you're uncomfortable, you're always, what is going on? How do I get out of it? I'm really lost in this. And
Mm,
so the very first publication that I did was called Shine, Dreams to Help You Inspire, Stories to Help You, to inspire you to dream big, fear less, and blaze your own trail. Sorry, it's a
boom,
mouthful.
shakalaka.
And the story that I shared in that was really the very beginning.
Mm,
And one of my daughter's plays felt that we were kind of like in a safe zone. I kind of started doing like some part-time work, like through like a temp service.
mm.
And it was that part-time work which led to a full-time job, which introduced me to someone else in the building, right? Like, it's
Wow.
incredible how the universe conspires.
Yep.
And, it was a life coach. And so I started going to wisdom groups and that kind of thing. And then everything unfolded from there. And it was like, once I stepped onto it, um, it was like turbo speed. It was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't, yeah, I'm going to go to wisdom group. It was, oh, you're in wisdom group. Okay. Yeah. You want to do coaching? Sure. I'm going to do, oh, wait, there's this shamanic journey with this group of women. You want to do, yeah, I'm going to do that too.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I can do that energy. Oh, yes, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do it all. And oh boy, be careful what you ask for. Right. I learned
Yeah.
that real quick,
Wow.
but it
Well,
was all beautiful.
so this is great, Crystal, because I think a lot of people might feel like they aren't making those leaps and those bounds and having the intuitive yeses and heck yeses and opportunities that almost might even be considered overwhelming or too much to people, but they want to grow fast and they want to get to their results fast. What do you think was different about you that had you attract and allow in these kinds of experiences so fast?
Um, I think it was once I woke up,
Hmm.
it was knowing that, and for me, I'm a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
I just love learning new things. Like, you take that away, oh boy. um, so for me, it was like, once I go down a path, I wanted to explore all of the doors that lead to the center of that, right?
Right.
And so while my brain was leading me, I was being driven, like literally, I was literally being driven by a source that just felt right,
Wow.
you know?
Mhm.
And through the process, I unfolded and unpacked all kinds of things. Um, Fear that had shut me down.
Mm.
Once I woke up, I was finding where fear played such a massive role in my life, everywhere. And then another big thing is when I discovered, because I thought I was kind of going crazy at first,
Mm.
because there's just so much all the time. Um, it was when I discovered that I had empathic gifts
Mm.
and learning to wield those. Like, once I started doing that, I started being able to feel more centered with myself and like, okay, I can keep things straight now.
Mm.
And then as I kind of moved through those tools and those practices, working with people in marketing myself. I mean, who wants to see someone who, and this was back when essential oils was just taking off, who wants to see somebody who knows about essential oils and doesn't use medicine and has done, like some shamanic work and training and knows about energy healing and who has done the I was trying to compartmentalize everything. So then it was the
Mm.
dance of bringing everything together
Wow.
into my own special cocktail.
Hmm.
So it has taken a lot actually to get me to where I am today. And for that person, it starts out as those gentle nudges, right? And it's being aware of the synchronicities
Mm.
of the people you meet
Hmm.
and what's catching your attention. And the feeling, it's like that whisper in the back of your mind where it's not the self-talk, but it's that whisper that's yours, but it's not yours, right? It's
Mm.
learning to listen to those cues.
Those nudges, those hints. I like that. Cues. That's a great languaging for it. So you really trusted these little nudges, cues, sources of inspiration. And I also heard you say like that source within you, it was driven, it was very driven. And I'm curious, and through from the point of being driven to doing all these different coachings and modalities and successes and things like that, it was compartmentalized. And then your like phase of real growth and impact is when you learned how to integrate it. I want to talk about the driven part because I think a lot of women might feel exhausted and overwhelmed by their driven rather than fulfilled and inspired by their driven. What's the difference between that?
So when you're driven from within, it is not a to-do.
Mm.
It's not an action on your to-do list. It's not something that's in your planner that you're looking for any outside recognition from.
Mm.
When you're being driven from within, it's almost like you've decided to get on the roller coaster and you're strapped in, and the only way to get off is take the ride. But you've chosen the ride and you're
Yes.
excited about the ride,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Um, so yeah, it's very much like that. And I
Mm.
think the perfect example of this is the very first time I heard about a woman's circle, it was with the woman who we were teaching essential oils together. I was learning from her and teaching and all of that kind of stuff. And she goes, I know this woman who will come and set a sacred space and she does women's circles. And it was like something had taken over my body and it was like spiritual whiplash. Like I could have been an owl, my head turned so far. And all of a sudden out of my mouth was, I want to know about that. And it was like we were both shocked
Yes.
that I said that at the same time. So, it's kind of like it things like that, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, you're taken over or anything, but It's something where it's before you know, you know.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's we're talking about really connecting with that feminine wisdom, that intuition, and I think that there may have been a lot of conditioning for a lot of people of external things and shoulds and external validation, and so we're reconnecting with the internal validation here, the internal knowingness. What other practices for you was really important to develop that strength, to develop that connection? Because I think that's something we can invite our audience, and men and women in the audience, to do, to really reconnect with their own truth, their own knowingness, their own intuition. What else can we do?
Well, when I start working with people to really start trusting that, I invite them to have like an intuition journal.
That's good.
Right? Some people have just a dream journal that they keep next to their bed to record their dreams, but this is like an intuition journal, and it could be something as easy as this,
Hmm.
right? Like this bag that you can keep in your purse because these things come up whenever, and it's literally designated just for that. This thought came in and I'm wondering, right? So you put it down and then you go through your days and you're like, oh, well, I noticed that I kept seeing this red tail hawk every time I
Mm.
left my house, right? And they're writing down red tail hawk. Well, then they might look up red tail hawk, and then that's going to lead to a thought in their mind. They're going to write that down. And so they can learn to really tune into what their spirit language is by just kind of recording these little things, these
Mm.
little hints, these little cues that they're suspecting might be something, but they're
Mm.
not sure of, right?
Wow.
Because they haven't learned to trust it yet. So they're not sure of it. And then you can kind of go back and you can look through it. Oh, I know what that meant now. Like
Mm.
as you're going back and reviewing, but also if there's something that you're really looking for in yourself and you're really wondering, like, say you want to transition from such and such career to a different one, but you're not sure what that looks like, or maybe you don't know what you want to transition to,
Mm.
you can start intuiting that for yourself in the same way.
Wow.
And it's just really asking that and watching for the signs to appear, and seeing what's in that for you. It could be um, a song that suddenly is playing on the radio every time you get in the car, you
Mhm.
know? And does it pop on at the same time? What's in those words for you?
Yeah.
Right? So everybody's spirit language is unique to them. And it is up to each of us to learn that language because it's special for us
Mhm.
personally, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because our guardian angels and our spirit guides, they want us to succeed
Mhm.
and they're trying to speak to us. It's, are we listening? Are we tuning in?
Right. So it starts with asking the question, like whatever questions we have, and saying, intuition, higher power, guardian angels, spirits, like whoever's supporting me on this journey. I'm requesting an answer to this question. My question is da da da, and like really being specific, being intentional, being clear, and then not being attached to how the answer comes, because life is probably, and these helpful forces, so to speak, and energies are probably constantly trying to inspire us, to encourage us, to keep us connected. And we may have put on layers of disconnection, whatever that might look like: shame, guilt, disbelief, doubt, whatever that has disconnected us from our internal source. So we really have to first rebuild the relationship with our intuition, with these deeper, higher powers.
Yeah. And I call those the layer of armor, right? Because
Mm,
we're always connected. We don't trust the connection. We can't feel or
mm,
sense the connection.
wow.
And we're trying to sense it from our head versus our heart space, right?
Yeah.
And so, when people come to work with me, it's that in between those layers where we start unpacking.
Wow.
and peeling away and working on that to get to that connection and to strengthen that.
I think that's for me. I've considered myself spiritual for the last couple of years, coming from being like atheist and saying I don't believe in God. Okay, agnostic was the next phase. I don't know what it is, and now I'm like, okay, there's some kind of God, source, higher power. I don't know what it is. I think to label it and be identified with it might limit us. So I'm open. I don't know what it is, but there's something, right? So I'll be open to it.
Hmm.
And there's like a intuitive knowingness, but I felt a kind of a block, or not a connection that I know I'm capable of and I want. And what I
Hmm.
really love about this is I can just have the intention to help me remove these layers of armor that I have built up that have disconnected me, or I've thought I've been disconnected along the journey, and simply just making that request, the universe can conspire with me to make that happen too. So I think that for me at my level, and everyone's at a different place on their journey, but for me at my level, I think that's a really powerful intention to focus on, especially going to Bali.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to Bali. You're on your way. You'll be there tomorrow, right?
Yeah, well, I fly out tonight, like I don't know, midnight, 1:30, or some crazy time in the morning, and then we'll get there on Saturday Bali time. So it'll be a lot of fun. Yes, it's great. So
Yeah.
I really think that that's valuable though for people tuning in, who don't feel like they have that deep connection yet, or don't remember that they've always had a deep connection. They just are doubting, or there's a perception of disconnection. I think it's really powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And when you're unpacking those layers,
Mhm.
so to speak, and oftentimes there's either a limiting belief or a wound or both, because you can absolutely have both at the same time.
Yep.
They're usually tied together somehow. Some people don't like certain languages. I
Mhm.
don't care what you label it, but there's something there. And once you work through it and you get down to the lesson,
Mm.
um, I call it extracting that pearl of wisdom,
Mm.
to where, and it's that shift of, oh, I just learned such and such about myself, right?
Mm.
And you really take that in, and that's where it's no longer the limiting belief
Mm.
or the wound. Now it's just this factual thing that happened in your past.
Yeah.
You've worked through the emotional part of it. You've added to your bank of inner wisdom, so to speak, and you
Mm.
have it like, it's kind of like investing in your inner knowing and your trust.
Mm.
So the next time something else comes up around or feels similar to that, you have that wisdom of, oh, flasher, this is going off. This is what you need to do. And you just know to follow it that way instead of going down the old repeated road
Mm.
that gets you nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the I would love to define intuition and inner wisdom. If we have already said it, we can recap it. But just to identify what that is for our audience out there, how would you define that?
Your inner wisdom is like this investment bank, so to speak, of energy that is within you. And it's something that you have earned and collected through your experiences.
Wow.
Okay. And your intuition is your inner knowing.
Mm.
Your intuition is something every single person is born with. It's an innate wisdom,
Mhm.
right? So that's different.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just this knowing, this like NCIS Gibbs. He knows it in his got a gut feeling. He knows it in his gut, right? Like that's his intuition,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I love this. I love the distinction though, because I think there's one part of kind of a popular message today about intuition. How do we tap into our intuition? And then the inner wisdom, I think is interesting that you mentioned. It's like a bank. It's like a collective of experiences where we have maybe listened or not listened to our intuition, and now we are able to make more effective, higher vibration choices in the highest good for all.
Right. Yeah. Well, because to me, I think of it as a distinction like wisdom itself, it
Hmm.
isn't knowledge.
Mm,
Wisdom itself is based on your experiences,
mm,
right? So you think about it, in any ancient people's hierarchy, there was always a wise one.
yeah.
It isn't necessarily because they went off to college and they learned such and such about building or whatever. It's because they have integrated and collected wisdom,
Mm,
and they have walked that wisdom path. So there's a reason why, like, for the masculine wheel of life, you end with the wizard,
mhm,
right? Wiz, wise,
mm,
right? And in the woman's wheel of life, you end with the crone or the wise elder.
mm,
Again, wisdom. It's they take that lifetime to gather that wisdom, and it's based on their experiences and the teachings that they have learned and applied and witnessed, right, in
mm,
real life. So your inner wisdom is just that for you.
mm,
And then if you were to take that higher, and this is, how I see things, you take that higher, every time you heal something, of course it goes into your inner wisdom, but that energy also fuels the collective consciousness. And it
mm,
makes it all that much easier and more readily available for the next person to heal that similar thing as well.
mm, mm. I love this. And Crystal, one thing I we haven't tapped in too much yet is your embracing of the woo and this realm of spirituality. Has that always been a part of your journey, or how has that evolved over time?
So, it's funny that you asked because once I started on this, I started kind of remembering a couple of things from when I was younger.
Mm,
Um, like when I was in kindergarten, my dad at work, he hurt himself pretty bad, but every night he called at the same time every night. And this night he was a little bit later,
mm,
and I answered the phone because, of course, I knew it was my dad. I wanted to talk to my dad. And I just remembered as soon as I heard his voice, I just started screaming and crying like I knew something was wrong, like as soon as I heard his voice. And sure enough, he was in the hospital. And I kind of forgot about that. But I'm like, wow, as a kid, how many of those things did I pick up on? And for
mm.
how long in my lifetime was I misconceived as this shy person when really I was just feeling all this crap that I just didn't know what to do, right?
Yes.
So, but I didn't know. I
Right.
didn't know.
Right.
But it's, that hindsight, that looking back in that 2020.
Yeah.
And so over the past couple of years, even right away when I started learning all of this stuff, I was careful who I talked to,
Mm,
right? Because it was new.
mm,
I wasn't quite sure of myself, and I hadn't built up that confidence. Like I was still kind of putting so many things together.
mhm,
And over the last few years, like my tribe, my people, I keep finding more of my people, and I love it when I find my people. And um, it's funny because there's something there, for lack of a better word. It's not funny. It's awesome actually. But I can just explain the energetics of it. Like
mm,
I just know. Like I get it. I can see and follow the patterns.
mm.
And so yeah, I don't try to hide my woo. I also don't beat a dead horse either. So if I come up and I meet somebody who's like, what are you talking about? Okay, not ready. That's okay. I'll have a muggle conversation with you.
A
It's okay.
mile course. I love it. This is great. I think it's really beautiful. When do you feel like you really embraced that side of you? And since doing that, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, influencers, people with a message in the audience who are stepping into their truth. I'm curious, like, when did you really see yourself embrace that? And like, what was it like for you? What's different about how you embrace it and how you own it? That kind of thing.
I'm not sure if I could absolutely pinpoint a specific time and space where I just went, okay, this is it.
Mm,
I think it's just for me, it's like reading the conversation and feeling into each person I come across. Um, can they have that conversation?
yeah.
Can they go there?
Mm,
Are they curious? And the more you look for those people, the more you find them.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's that's a difficult question to answer, but I would say probably the last 2 or 3 years, I just can't imagine a day of not coming across a person who I can't have those conversations with.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you invite people around you to step into their woo or their truth and be like courageous with that kind of thing?
Um, well, with my kids, even before I knew all of this stuff, I never shut down like the what ifs or I
Mm,
hear this or I saw that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I never did that. I guess like somehow I just always believed or sensed or what have you. And I just let them have that because it was true for them.
Mm,
Um so for me, I love it when somebody says you're going to think I'm crazy and I'm going to be like and I'm always like try me. This is going to be good. um or this is so weird. You'll never believe the conversation I just had. I
mm,
probably would.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. It's really cool. I hear the inviting space is something that is really important for you to like not judge what people experience or express because in their reality in their eyes it's their truth, and there's some connection to greater truth. So to invalidate someone or whatever it might be, that could really be it could potentially hurt them. And it's like to have an open mind, I feel, is like one of the most powerful perspectives of a creator of your reality, saying, hey, I'm going to listen with open ears and open heart and open mind. And if there's something that I don't resonate with, I just say, hey, that's not my truth. That's okay. But I'm still going to want to listen. And also, it sounds like what you've attracted is more than not people who are in alignment with what you believe, and they share those kind of similar values and feelings and perceptions and belief systems, so that like y'all are like, yeah, we get each other. And so you really get to hold a really powerful safe space for them.
Yeah, that and the people who are like just opening their eyes and they want
Mm,
to learn more.
mm,
And I I work with a lot of newer healers. Um they tend to kind of find me, like they'll go and do like this weekend thing and learn this, or they'll go and do this, or say they're a massage therapist and whoa, their person's in a crisis all of a sudden. Like they
mm,
don't know what to do,
yeah.
right? Like they're not taught how to handle those things. And the single most imperative thing that any healer of any kind
Mhm.
can do for a human being is to truly bear witness to their pain,
Wow.
right? And really hear them and listen to them without judgment, because at the
Mm,
end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's true to us. It
wow.
doesn't matter if it's true to everybody else involved in their situation. What matters is it's true for them in that moment. And that is what they need to
Mm.
move beyond that.
Yeah, and to express it and not stuff it down or avoid it or deny it. And I think that's what better way to connect with our intuition than to say blah and recognize, hey, I'm okay just speaking my truth, whatever it is that comes out. And there's people around me who love me and accept me as I am. What else can I tap into inside of me that is my truth, that is my greatest self-expression, knowing that no matter what I share, number one, I'm supported. And even if that didn't happen, I think at some point we say, well, I know I'm good enough as I am. Like, I am worthy, I am loved, I am a divine being. So I don't need other people to validate me, although that may have helped me get to where I am today. At a certain point, I think we just say, I am enough. Like, I don't need external
Mhm.
validation. But on the journey, I think it's really important to have that safe space to be able to trust ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And holding that space, creating that space and holding
Mm.
that space, that is the feminine container.
Mm. Mm. Why is it a feminine container, not a masculine container?
Because the masculine is is energy and motion.
Okay.
And while the feminine energy, absolutely, we tap into that, to our inner masculine, right, to get things done.
Hmm.
But if you think of it, like, what is a woman's womb space? But it's a container, and
Right.
what happens in there?
Mm.
Like, it creates human babies, and what does the container do? It holds the space for that to happen,
Mm.
and it expands and it contracts as it needs to hold the energy as it's created and as it decides to, birth itself into the world,
Yeah.
right? And what needs to happen for all of that? It needs a healthy environment and
Mm.
to feel safe. Yes, there are babies born from
Mm.
unsafe environments. Yes.
Yeah.
And they are born with those woundedness of those unsafe environments.
Mm.
But when you bring that safety energetically
Mm.
to a session or a circle, or as you will be doing to your retreat,
Yes.
next week, right?
Yeah.
You're creating that container and that safe space
Mm.
for people to go and be vulnerable and to do what they came there to do, right? And there's going to be times where that container is going to contract,
Hmm.
to get tighter, right? And expand to allow them to expand as
Mm.
they're moving through whatever stage, that they're moving through, while they are there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, I really love how you said the womb is a container, is a safe space, and also I feel like the nurturing energy is a is like an inclusive, wrapping, comforting energy. And when I feel
Mhm.
like, because I'm wanting to put the pieces in together in my head, and I think of masculine energy, and I'm like, well, wait a second, doesn't a masculine energy want to protect something, and isn't that in some way
Yes.
a container? But I also feel like the masculine is to go out, or to push against something. It's like it's directed versus kind of encompassing, so to speak.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Because the masculine protects, provides,
Hmm.
procreates, right?
Hmm.
But it's all outside of the container,
Mm.
right?
No.
But you're protecting from the outside forces, right?
Mm.
And so, even within, I tap into my inner masculine all the time, just
Right.
as you tap into your inner feminine all the time. And it's
Yep.
that synergy, right? Of both happening that allows everything to happen. So
Mm.
holding a safe container, right, is holding its being.
Mm.
Protecting a container is doing, and
Wow.
you're maintaining that energy. And
Wow.
that's how I see that. Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating. I love it because I've also heard as well the masculine energy, like it's like a rock, when the woman's energy is like the waves, right, in the ocean. And when a masculine energy is stable and sturdy, that's what the woman can trust, in like a relationship. You know, the woman can have emotions and have experiences and things like that, but just knowing that that man is there, solid, like stiff, erect, powerful, grounded, right? That's
Yep.
that is the masculine energy. Uh, like, in spite of whatever comes at it, it just remains there. It's present.
Right. It's trusted, it's proven, it's
Yeah.
true,
Mm.
it's loyal, and it's protecting. It doesn't harm. It
Wow.
only protects, it defends.
Wow. So awesome. I love this. I love this. Okay. So in terms of our audience being able to become their greatest possible self, whatever other things have been coming up for you recently? What's coming up in your coaching conversations, in the videos that you're making, the content that you're making? What's like a hot topic for you recently for entrepreneurs and people who want to change the world? What's coming up for you, Crystal?
um, well, just today, I had a really powerful conversation with um, a wonderful human being. And she is an entrepreneur. And just like, and this is the beauty of women's circles. And I know
Mhm,
it's the beauty of wisdom circles or,
mhm,
what have you that you partake into is when somebody shares something, there's always a piece of wisdom in it for everybody else involved.
mm,
And the conversation I had this morning, it was in the moment while we were having the conversation, it was, somehow disconnected or not feeling the passion
mhm,
and the purpose. And it's just because that different perspective, right? Because the person's stuck. So when you're stuck, and if you think of it this way, you're like dropped in the ocean and you're kind of fighting and trying to get to shore.
yeah.
You can only see so much. You have one line of view, and even that is skewed,
Mm,
right?
mhm,
So when you're stuck, it's very much like that. And you can get trapped in that story of your immediate surroundings.
wow.
So it was changing the perspectives, right? Playing with yeses, playing with nos, playing
Mm,
with redefining, um, totally stepping out and taking a bird's eye view. Like it's a totally different, like when you go to a hockey arena and you're sitting like near the sidelines, you can see this way and you can see that way, but it's obstructed. You can see this way a little
yep.
bit, but it's obstructed. But if you're up higher, you can see the whole ice arena, right? You can
Yeah.
see a better perspective. So it was like that. And then, gosh, it was probably an hour or so after I got off the phone with her. And I'm like, but I've had her struggles too.
Mm,
And some of her struggles as an entrepreneur, we all have, different struggles. I'm like, but it's like all of a sudden this vision flashed, and this is, my spirit speak, right?
mhm.
So all of a sudden this vision flashed, and it was like this marathon race, and it was like you're almost at the end and you've got it, but what's
So, Crystal, you froze a little bit. You paused. You said you're almost at the end of the marathon race. Not sure if you can hear me or not. Testing 1, 2, 3. Back to back interviews. What is going on here? You're vibing too high today. Too high. Ay caramba. All right. So this has been epic stuff. I'm gonna pause on Crystal's video till she comes back. But this is great. Would love to hear what your biggest takeaways are from this. And I'm loving this conversation about the masculine and feminine energy and just like playing. How do we play more with our experience, with our intuition, and tap into that? And it looks like Crystal is back. What's up?
you froze, so I have no idea where I ended. Myself, I think, for a minute.
It is perfect. It's perfect. I heard we were talking about playing with the yeses and the nos. I asked you about, really, you were having a conversation with a powerful woman, and I think that was like the main cutoff. So just recap what happened with this
Okay.
conversation.
So it was the different perspectives
Uh huh.
and the different scenarios. And when I got off the phone with her, a while later, it was like this vision that flashed in my mind
Uh huh.
of this race. And it was kind of like the end of the race and what was going to get them across the finish line. And it was their perseverance and their will, right?
Mm,
There's something very powerful in thy kingdom come, thy will be done, right?
mm,
Think of your body and your being as your kingdom.
mm,
What do you will? What are you willing? Oh, you froze again.
We're back. We're still here.
Um, and so it's renegotiating. Okay, are you
Good.
there?
Yep.
And so it's renegotiating your contract with yourself. So
Mm,
as you change, your um where you want to go may shift and change. I
yeah.
mean, when you started out in your coaching business, how many times did you redefine and reestablish your business plan? And it's
So many.
constantly evolving, right?
So many. Yes. And thank you. You know, part of me is like, and then part of me is like, yes, get freaking aligned with who you are, Chris. Get it, you know?
Yeah. So, and as we continue to evolve and to
Mhm.
change, that same alignment isn't going to stay true for
That's right.
us.
That's right.
So we have to keep constantly realigning our vision,
Mm,
right?
yep.
And that sometimes requires different consciously inspired action
Yeah.
to manifest.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's really what's been coming up big lately. And then today's conversation that I had this morning really brought all that home.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So awesome. So you're having these powerful conversations. How does that relate to the spiritual midwifery and helping people through awakening? How does it all relate, all come together, all integrate?
So the spiritual midwifery is really, if you think a midwife helps a mom bring, like, helps the baby come through the mom into the
Yes.
world, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when you're transforming and you're evolving and you're growing, you're evolving into that next version of yourself.
Mm,
So that person who is helping you and who is guiding you, I'm not doing it for them.
mm,
I'm just holding that space and offering ways for them to get where they tell me they want to go,
yeah.
right? And I'm helping them through the healing process.
Mm,
But just like a mom giving birth, they're doing the work and they're doing that for themselves.
mm,
Um, I'm just guiding based on the wisdom I've gained from working with others. So that's where that spiritual midwifery, I mean, that has just been like the best way for me to be able to explain that
wow.
process of what I do and how I work with others.
Mm,
Because sometimes it's coaching, sometimes we're doing energy healing,
yeah.
sometimes we get people up on the land and we're doing sweat lodges and all that good stuff.
That's
And
amazing.
at the end of the day, that's what it is. I mean, you're midwifing and holding that for them.
Yeah.
They're doing the work.
Mm.
Because if you take that power away from them, what does that leave them with?
So it's really reminding them that they are the creator of their realities. They are responsible. They are powerful. Like you don't need anything outside of yourself to own your power, to own your value, to own your greatness, to bring your dream and vision into the life. So at the end of the day, we come back to that core, to that source, and there's people outside of us who can accelerate the process, who can support us, who can guide us, who can share their wisdom with us as we're going along the journey. You mentioned a couple different things there, Crystal, which I love: coaching, energy work, sweat lodges, coming out and working with you, different events. Like, tell us a little bit more about how people can take those next steps with you, and what are the different ways that they can work with you, and what are the types of people who usually come to work with you.
Well, I do see people via Zoom
Okay.
like this. And I see people in person.
Mhm.
So they can go to my website and they can book a free discovery session with me. And my website is www.wisdomawakens.com.
Mhm.
And to get to the book, they can go to the contact me page and it just pulls up a slot where they can book an appointment in there. Um, I also have a private group on Facebook called Feminine Wisdom
Ooh.
Keepers.
Ooh.
And we have a lot of, I feel, good conversations in there. I had a couple of people say, the questions you post are so good. I really have to go and journal about them. And I'm like, I know she meant that as a compliment, but maybe I need to be like more, like more, not so rhetorical with my question.
That's awesome. So you have a Facebook group, you do Zoom. It sounds like there's a lot of different modalities as well that you bring to your coaching and your midwifery. I thought it was pronounced midwifery, but midwifery, I heard you say it like that. So I think that's the pronunciation. It sounds like there's a lot of really great distinctions that you bring. Is there any other that you wanted people to know about or just to remind people of?
Um, for me, it doesn't matter how a person comes to see me or what modality they come for, they get all of it.
Mm.
Like I don't keep it separate. I don't have to have the person in front of me to I just need their permission to tap in and to feel their energy and help work with them on that. So that is one thing where I feel it has really grown me as a practitioner
Uh-huh.
is to not compartmentalize everything.
Mm.
So I'm certified in melody crystal healing. I've done lots and lots of other energy, the shamanic training. I mean, really, I couldn't even list all the different energetics that are involved in that.
Wow.
I've done some priestess path work
Mm.
with elementals, and that's a lot of inner work as well. And I have done a lot of work with essential oils, which is where honestly I learned a lot. I've never been a sciencey person. I know this is kind of like an oxymoron, but that's like the only part of science that I enjoyed was when I started learning about emotional health and
Mm.
the essential oils. I really learned a lot of energetics.
Wow.
So sometimes I'll mention certain oils. It might be helpful for you to have blah, blah, blah around. And in January, I will be releasing. Um, I have created a journal and meditation bundle for
Mm.
people to awaken to their divine wisdom.
Mm.
And in that bundle, I take them through the steps of energetic decording and
Mm.
etheric flame work and purification and all kinds of good stuff.
Goodies.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Crystal, there's so much you got going on. I love it. We've barely scratched the surface in this conversation. So just what we've talked about, though, has been really valuable. The conversation, diving into the masculine, the feminine, like awakening, that process. How do we create the container, create the support for ourselves doing that, as well as all the different modalities and ways that you can support people and help them to birth their greatest possible selves. I really love it. Love the intuition, love the inner wisdom. Lots of really great stuff in this. And for everyone who is tuning in right now, go have a conversation with Crystal right now. Send her a message. Go to wisdomawakens.com. Go connect with her. She mentioned the booking process as well. Go play around on her website. Go see more of what she's up to. It's awesome, awesome stuff. And I love this. This is such a blast. We're definitely going to have you back on again, Crystal. You're so much fun. And just like this serene, like blissful energy is like just emanating from you. I'm sure anyone who works with you also feels such a divine space of being held, of being loved, of being supported. So I feel that coming through this interview and
Yep.
our interactions before this. So I just appreciate you and who you've developed yourself into being, who you've remembered yourself into being as well. It's really a gift to the world. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you very, very much for having me. Yes, I love to come back. This was good. It was fun.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. And I'm going to
Have a
Bali.
great, great retreat. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to Bali, so I'll see you soon. And sending so much love. Crystal, thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Yep. Bye. Thank you.